We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is February the 17th. Our invocation will be done by our own Reverend Dr. Francisco R. Artley of the Poseyville United Methodist Church. He serves on our Planning Commission as well, so we're happy to have you, Pastor Artley. After we have our invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem. Please stand for the invocation.
Our scripture tonight, ma'am, it comes from Joshua 1. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, I just ask blessings upon our city council, Lord. I ask that you give them the wisdom, the strength, and the guidance, and the courage to lead our city and to make the decisions that have to be made. I just ask, Lord, that you be with this meeting, that you bless it, and that those that are here, I ask, Lord, that you be with them and all of our concerns, everything that's on our hearts and our minds that weighs us down, Lord. I ask that you just take that from us as we lift it up to you and give you all praise. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so very much, Mayor Pro Tem and Pastor Artley. We appreciate the invocation. We do have a couple of presentations this evening. We do have a presentation by Museum Director Ms. Suzanne Hudson concerning the Douglas County Museum of History and Art. And after that, we have a proclamation for Keep Douglasville Beautiful to be given to our Executive Director, Ms. Chan Weeks. So is Ms. Hudson here? Oh, hey, Suzanne, I didn't see you over there. You were hiding. It's good to see you this evening.
Thank you.
And we have the presentation loaded up on our tablets. And if you please, council, don't mind following along as Ms. Hudson reviews the information for us. Welcome. Please give us your name and address.
There, Rochelle?
Yes, ma'am. It should be. Is it going to be on the screen?
We did.
Mr. Jenkins? Okay. But we do have it on our iPad. I know you wanted the citizenry to see it as well.
Yes, I did.
He's checking into it.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you a couple of things about the museum.
Yes, ma'am.
20-something years ago, that building, it was built in 1958 when the courthouse burned. So it's a mid-century building, and the architecture is just great. But it was slated to be torn down. And the Tourism and History Commission of Douglas County, a 7-member commission, was appointed, and we had public hearings and saved the building from being torn down. And it's a perfect museum because it's not going anywhere. It's like concrete, glass, and aluminum, metal. It's there to stay. It's like a vault. And then we were able to get it listed on the National Register before it was 50 years old, which is kind of unheard of if you know about National Registers. So it's wonderful to have it in our downtown on the National Register. I just really want y'all to see this map. But it's a map of the United States. And this is just for last year, 2021, we had 29 states visit the museum. That means 29 states came to Douglasville, ate in our restaurants, bought our stuff in our shops, gas, stayed here, but 29 states and 8 countries.
Wow.
I'm going to name the countries, just Germany, Venezuela, Trinidad, Canada, Haiti, Kashmir, Great Britain, and Ecuador. So it's so interesting who comes to our small town, I think. Our accomplishments are that we tell the story of our citizens. There we go. So you can see the building now. You can go to the next one. There's the map with the 29 states and the countries. So what we are very proud of is telling the stories of our citizens, everyone in the county. I mean, if you have a story that we don't know about, we would love to know about it so we can tell it. The Hydrangea Festival receives top honors in the state and the nation. Last year, we had 13 states attend our garden tour. We have just created a little society kind of thing that's of other small museums in our surrounding area, like Palmetto, Carrollton, Marietta, that we're coming together as a group to promote each other, which I think is a wonderful thing, because when you go to a museum, you want to know where another museum is. We had a very distinguished guest come into our museum, and she was told about it and came, Ms. Naomi King. She had a good time. The special events and exhibits we had last year was a Native American exhibit, and Congressman Scott wrote us a wonderful letter about that. We partnered with the city to have the 4th of July floats, which I think were 99 floats that we had in our front lobby. And then we have a Douglas County Hall of Fame, which if you are nationally recognized in your field, you can be inducted into our Hall of Fame, which is pretty amazing. Who is and lives in Douglas County is in our Hall of Fame. Please visit our museum and you can see that. And then we have a Douglas County 9 that we just heard about from World War I veterans. We are consistently refining exhibits because our citizens bring us information. We don't go out and hunt information, but anything that's brought to us, we either archive or put on display. Okay, if you want to flip that one, I don't know who to talk to. Okay, we had lower attendance in 2020, and we had a sesquicentennial exhibit, and it was not very well attended because of, we don't know, y'all know why. But we will have I hope, a city exhibit and sesquicentennial exhibit in a couple of years, because y'all are 5 years younger than. We had a record-breaking, garden tour for the Hydrangea Festival. I think everybody was just ready to get out and come and do something. And our director, Barbara, who'd been there for many years, passed away last year. So I'm just an acting director until we find one. But we are continuing to add to our artifacts in our collections. The goals for 2022 is a bigger, better Hydrangea Festival. We're spreading it out in the city more, so you should have a lot more people attend. It's not going to be concentrated in one area. We have new signage that's been attached to the back of the museum because everybody flies down Bankhead, but I think they might notice the one on the back of the museum. Now, y'all can stop me and ask me a question anytime. It's okay. We are a welcome center for downtown, and we are the only welcome center where anybody can come on the weekends, which adds a lot to our town. We promote the film trail, the butterfly trail, and we're working on a historic site trail. We have an exhibit right now for Black History exhibit. We are featuring citizens and what they've done for our community. And for March is National Women's History Month, so we're doing a feature on women in Douglas County making history, and we have a lot of those. We'll always continue to tell the amazing stories of our citizens. That's what we're so proud of, past and present, preserving artifacts and memories and bringing tourism to our community. So, why I wanted to offer this thing, I want to beg for a small percentage of your hotel motel tax to be donated to the museum. So I wish you would consider that. Thank you.
Yes,
Do y'all have any questions?
I'll make a statement and then open the floor for questions from the council. I want to thank you so much, Ms. Suzanne, for coming in. Of course, I served on the museum board in the past, and just to highlight a couple of things that you were talking about. This past year, when we had the float, we usually have a 4th of July parade, but we could not have it because of COVID in person, so we had shoebox parades, and those were the 90-some entries that the city and the museum hosted together. That Hydrangea Festival is just phenomenal, been in Southern Living and just all over, winning all kinds of awards. And some of those entries, or for the people that are Hall of Fame, she just won again, a silver Olympian
Elena
Myers. So the 4th time she just won a silver for bobsledding. And the lady that sings I Love the Nightlife.
Yes, Susan Hutchison.
Yes, ma'am. And the gentleman who created the tranquilizer for...
Red Palmer.
Yes. And young people are so enamored when they come in and see the lunchbox museum at display, because they see Puff and Stuffs and all those lunch boxes we used to carry back in the day in the 60s and 70s. I know, Mr. Marcus, you were just a twinkle in your mother's eye, so you wouldn't know anything about that. But it's exciting to see, and they go in this room, and there's telephone booths. They used to walk in like Superman, the actual, kids are just like, what in the world is that? And what's a home phone that's sitting there on the table that you have to pick up and dial the numbers, a rotary dial? So it's really exciting, record players, all of those things for people to see, and even Dr. Robinson, for the first hospital that was in Douglasville, to see that. And one that I really, really love is the military uniform display. To have all those uniforms from all of the wars and whatever conflicts that we fought, and just to have those uniforms in that facility is just phenomenal. So I love and then the Black History Month the exhibit that's there for Hutchins High School, and it is phenomenal. So I would encourage everyone to attend. I wasn't trying to give a plug for, and Vince Dooley came one time. We had a hydrangea named after him, because every year we sponsor on hydrangea, and I didn't know there were so many different ones that if you put them in the ground, either they come out pink, blue, purple. Well, I know, purple, and it's fascinating. But anyway, I'm talking away. So open the floor. I know Mayor Pro Tem had something.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
Very nice presentation, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Quick question. You had mentioned about forming an organization of local museums. Has the Douglas County Museum interested in applying, or is there a national organization that you're interested in becoming a part of, or have you already become a part of any national organizations?
We're not a part of a national, we are part of Georgia. We work with the Georgia Historical Society and GAMAG, which is the Georgia Association of Museums and Galleries. We work with those two organizations. But no, there's not one for small museums that can work together and network. So that's what we created.
It might be the start of something big. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Any other? Yes, sir. Councilman Davis.
Yes, ma'am. How are you, Miss Susan?
Great.
And I'm surprised the mayor did not mention my picture in the museum.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Davis. I apologize.
So,
Councilman Davis is in the museum. He has a big afro, like the guy Allen who plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He can pull picks and stuff out his afro. He was in there. What was the group? You look like Fred, what's his name that played the?
Slide in the Family Stone.
No, Jimi Hendrix. That's what you really look like.
Right. Yeah.
But what was the name of your group?
Down in Byron, Purple Haze.
Purple Haze. See, you were close.
Yeah, we played with Hendrix down in Byron, Georgia. About 1 million people look like. They brought him in an airplane.
Wow.
So yeah, our pictures in the museum. I appreciate everything you have done. I mean, if you never visit that museum, go. And it's exciting. I love when I go through. And they have a little tip jar on the side. So you can leave a little tip. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize, Councilman Davis. I had forgotten it's the hair. It threw me off. You're like the Jackson 5. You got big hair. I know it, Purple Haze. Any other comments? All right. Thank you so much, Ms.
Thank you
Hudson.
for your time.
You're welcome. So we'll move on now. We do have a proclamation that I need to present to our Executive Director for Keep Douglasville Beautiful, Ms. Chan Weeks, if you don't mind coming forward, and I will read the proclamation. And if you'd like to have words, you can certainly do that, and we'll take a picture. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for planting of trees, and the holiday was called Arbor Day. It was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling cost, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, which is very expensive right now if you're trying to build, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economy's vitality of businesses, and beauty for our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And now, therefore, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, do hereby proclaim February 18th, 2022 as Arbor Day in the City of Douglasville. And I encourage all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I further encourage all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of this future community's generations. So proclaimed this 17th day of February 2022. Ms. Chan Weeks, our Executive Director of Keep Douglasville Beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So we are celebrating Arbor Day. It's always the third Friday in February in Georgia, and there is a National Arbor Day in April. But we prefer to celebrate the February Arbor Day because it's a better day to plant trees, or a better time of the year to plant trees here in Georgia. And this year we are doing an Arbor Day celebration in conjunction with the county, and we're doing it at Fox Hall. We will be planting 5 American chestnut trees, which is a pretty spectacular thing because the American chestnut was actually hit by a blight many, many, many years ago and are almost extinct at this point. So through an effort through the American Chestnut Foundation and more locally in our state with Berry College, we have been granted 5 trees to plant down at Fox Hall, and hopefully they will mature and grow and be wonderful specimen trees for us. And we are celebrating that day next Friday, actually, February 25th at 2 p.m. at Fox Hall. Of course, it is a public event, so everyone is welcome to attend. So we hope to see you all there.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Chan. I think that's a chestnut tree right there. Why is it naked? They don't grow leaves or anything on the American chestnut?
So our tree on the city seal is a skint chestnut, which
It's a skint chestnut.
which the Native Americans actually skinned as a landmark, so they would be able to use it for, directional purposes and things. So, but it was an American chestnut.
Leaves didn't grow on the skint chestnut?
Not
I would
when
need
it's
some
skinned.
prosperity on that tree. No.
They would girdle them, right? Isn't that what they call it? They would cut the bark off around the trunk, and that would kill the tree, basically.
Oh, okay.
And that's how all the leaves would fall. So that's how it became identifiable.
Interesting.
I don't know why I know that, I just do.
Well,
Useless
that's
information that I keep with me.
That's okay, PBS, National Geographic. But thank you so much. We're excited about Arbor Day. I know a couple of years ago, my daughter and I planted trees at Douglas County High School for Arbor Day. And I can't remember what type of tree, what were those trees? You remember?
We were planting a bunch that day.
At that day at the high school. So, and I'm starting to see those bloom now. So it's exciting to see when you drive by, some of the fruit of your labor. It may take a couple of years, but it looks really nice.
Yes.
Any comments from council members outside of Encyclopedia, Mayor Pro Tem? Okay, thank you so much, Chan. We will give you the proclamation. If you all don't mind, please give Ms. Weeks a hand for all of her hard work that she does in the city. Keep Douglasville beautiful.
Everybody in there? Right underneath the skin chestnut.
The skin council.
Big smiles, 1, 2, and 3.
Thank you all so much for allowing us to do that. Now we'll go with our announcements for the meeting, and then we'll follow the agenda as presented and printed. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Douglasville's legislative work session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion only, and no official action will be taken on these items until next Monday at our 6 p.m. meeting. If the business you're here for is not listed as an agenda item, there will be ample time under the agenda item comments from citizens and delegates for you to discuss your information and your business. Just a few protocol issues, and then we can get on with the meeting. I ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We ask that you would please direct all of your comments to the committee chair. Only one person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers or speak or cheer from the audience. We ask you to speak directly to the chairperson of that committee. I'll remind you that we're only required to accept public comments during the required public hearings. And if you have a cell phone or electronic device, we ask that you would please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting is over so it will not be disruptive. Now, the agenda items will be handled as the following. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then that person or the representative will come forward. The applicant make his or her presentation. Myself and council members will possibly ask questions to help us make our decision on next Monday. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments or statements from the audience. There are 20 minutes for those in favor and 20 minutes for those in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. When you come to the podium, there are some cards outside that you can fill out and put your name and address, and we ask that you would turn that into the city clerk, Ms. Acker, to my right, so that we'll have that information for the record, and give your name and address. And that's pretty much it. This is not a question and answer or debate format. We're just here to receive the information, deliberate, make our decision on Monday, next Monday. And if you have printed material, we ask that you would please give that to our city clerk. She will make copies and distribute the printed material to us. So those are the instructions for the meeting, and we'll move on. We're on item number 5, and the committee chairperson is Economic Development Committee. The committee chairperson is Councilmember Terry Miller. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item under the Economic Development Committee this evening, and that is to consider a request for permission from the Cultural Arts Council of Douglasville, Douglas County, to permanently install an interactive mural on the wall of a city-owned building, that being 6695 Church Street. And Mr. Sarowitz and Ms. Emily Leitner are here this evening to tell us why.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Aaron
Good evening.
Sarowitz, Economic Development Manager, 6701 Church Street. So yes, before you tonight is a request for permission to place a mural on the north end of City Hall, in between City Hall and Fabiano's. I just want to explain the process a little bit. So we've never been through this process yet for public art. So initially, the applicant will need to request permission from the property owner to place public art on their property. So since the city is the owner of this property, the CAC is asking permission for you to place it on there. If you give permission, then it'll go, the application will go to the Public Arts Commission for their comments, and then if they approve, ultimately it will go back to you for final approval. So that's a little bit of the process. If you have questions about the project itself, Miss Emily Leitner is here to answer any of those questions.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sarowitz. This is a perfect example of how art can be used to elevate a community, and I think it's a fantastic idea. At least what you're proposing, the idea of the interactive mural, I don't think it was the first one, but probably the most famous one that people might recognize is the set of wings on the wall in Los Angeles, where, I mean, people come from all over just to get it's not the nicest neighborhood where it's located either, and yet people will show up there to get a picture with the wings behind them. It's a great opportunity. It's just a nice it's just like some of those pieces of cultural fabric that you add to your city that makes it stand out. So I think it's an awesome idea. I'll open the floor to any comments, questions. Coach Watts. Councilman Watts.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on some of the examples in the attachment. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
So from what I read, y'all are going to seek an artist through a process, and then once you arrive on or settle on somebody, then whatever that artist comes up with, the idea has to go by the Arts Council. And
So I believe Ms. Leitner and the CAC are going to put an RFP out for an artist, and then once they select the artist and the concept, that will then go to the Public Arts Commission for their review, and then they'll refer their decision to you all for final decision.
hopefully this may be the first of many of these type interactive art in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman.
Matt Berry, you have a question?
Thank you so much. I know there are questions down at the end as well, but you're going down the line. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Mr. Sarawis, for the presentation, and Ms. Leitner. And the coaches pretty much kind of asked the process just to redefine in my brain what you were talking about. I know when we had Stranger Things here, and they had interactive something on the ground, it was very well attended. It looked like the ground was coming up with a hand to grab at you. And so that was a lot of fun. So it'll be something like that. And I trust that you'll do a wonderful job in your RFP. You always make the art germane to the city. Just like the I Love Douglasville, it's a train on the heart now. And I was privileged to be able to pick the dog in front of City Hall when you all painted the fire hydrants. So we're excited. Can't wait. We can't steal the wings, but we'll do something. Thanks so much. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Chairman. Yes, look like I've seen them butterflies on one of them trains that go by. The artists that draw the trains going by on the, I saw the butterfly. Can we specify and use the artists that's right here in Douglasville? We have a lot of artists here.
We do have a lot of artists here, and so we will actually open up that RFP to any artist, specifically in Metro Atlanta, but we would really like to focus on a local artist as well.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Estes? Thank you.
Just a quick comment. With the Public Arts Commission, we have been discussing this idea for quite a while. I think it's incredibly exciting. It can absolutely be a destination to attract people here. And I, like Mayor Pro Tem said, I hope this is the first of many that we see throughout the city. So thank you for all your work.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. Will the artist be compensated for this, or at this?
Yes, the artist will be compensated
Okay,
for it.
not volunteer activity. That's
No.
good to know people pay for their time. Yeah. Any other questions? If there is no opposition, I think I would like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday evening. No? So done. That's all we have under the Economic Development Committee, Madam Mayor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I believe the Finance Chair is not here as well, so I'll ask. Oh, it's you, Coach?
I'm the
Vice Chair.
Vice Chair.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, Mr. IT Director, Mr. Sam. So we'll have the Finance Committee, and we'll ask the Vice Chair, Councilmember Watts, to take this committee, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
welcome.
several letters of the alphabet to cover tonight in finance. Item A, to rescind the approval of the February 7th, 2022, item 22-0055, authorizing the mayor to sign change order number 1 with R. Henry Incorporated for the increase in cost of materials for the Gateway Sign project, and authorize the mayor to sign change order number 2 with R. Henry Incorporated for the increase in cost of materials for the Gateway Sign project. And I believe Mr. Thompson will handle this.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. So this item was previously discussed at our last council meeting. There are no changes to the scope of work, no changes to the cost. However, there was an error in the change. Are there any questions or concerns?
Any comments or questions? Okay, so it's just a housekeeping matter?
Yes, sir.
Basically? Okay. If there are no questions, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday. Be all right? Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you, Mr. Thompson, appreciate it. Item B, adopt a resolution to update the City of Douglasville Department Management Policy as the city's finance department's policy, the debt management policy as the city's finance department's policy. And Ms. Callen, or is it Ms. Hampton?
Ms. Callen can come up. We will have Davenport with us on Monday. I know also the chair will be back on Monday, so she can just give a brief summary for each of those items before you vote. But this is the information that you heard at your strategic planning meeting, so we're bringing these forth for you for consideration to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Callen, go ahead.
All righty, Karen Callen, Finance Director, 6695 Church Street. You heard these during our strategic planning session as Davenport made their recommendations, but just going through these real quickly, on the investment policy, we add limited investments to AA ratings. So if the city decides to invest in any type of bonds, they have to have at least a AA rating, and that's to protect the city in the event of any downgrade. Then also we clarified tax-supported debt. So those are really the only two things that we updated to our investment policy. Our debt management policy, that we added that the city's tax-supported debt should not exceed 20% of the general fund operating expenditures. And we also added that the tax-supported debt as a percentage of full value, which is our tax digest at its full value, will not exceed 3%. So those are the two main changes we made in the debt management policy. Long-term financial planning policy, we amended that we will discuss with the elected officials each strategic planning session and also during our budget session, and that is our 5-year plan, similar to the one that we looked at during our, when we made our COLA, 5% COLA presentation, that we'll do that each year. And then lastly, the fund balance policy, we're going to take away the $2.5 million resolution that's really outdated at this point. That was established in 2004, and we're going to set a 33% of general fund revenues as our minimum fund balance policy.
Okay, so you covered B and C there, right?
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's fine.
I did.
That's fine.
I just went on with
I should have read it. I should have read them both together. That's my fault. What
I'm so
about
sorry. Those are
item
all of
E?
them. Yes.
Is item E in this?
Yes, sir.
You-
Long-term financial planning policy.
Okay. So these are all just updating our policies, basically, on all three of these. Madam Mayor, do you want me to, she's covered B and C, you want me to go ahead and read E, and she can cover that one too?
Please,
and then
please.
We'll go
Yes,
back
sir.
to D.
Yes, sir.
E is adopt a resolution to update the City of Douglasville's long-term forecasting and planning policy as the city's finance department's policy. And Ms. Callen, go ahead.
All right. Yeah, on the long-term financial planning policy, we added that, the main point that we added is that structural balance is a clear goal of our long-term financial planning policy, and that means that our revenues and expenses balance. And then also, we will discuss with the elected officials on an annual basis and during your strategic management session, or during our, if not both, during our budget session, budget workshop.
Okay, and I'm all over the map here. D is also part of this.
I'm so sorry.
Well, that's okay, because we're going to go back over it again on Monday anyway.
Yes,
So,
true.
have you covered D yet? Have you said anything about that?
The investment policy
Yeah.
is that we will not go below a AA rating if we invest in general obligation bonds. And also, we will send you monthly reports of our cash investments. Right now, we're sending you budget reports, but we will also add all our cash balances and our investments as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, I'm glad we're going to go over this again on Monday, and Mr. Adams will be back, and he'll read it, and Mr. Adams will be back, and he'll read it in ordinance. Thank you, Ms. Callen.
Okay.
And Madam Mayor.
Here, so I'll just ask, Councilman Estes, who's on the committee, to please take this committee, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Housing and Community Affairs has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on then to Legislative and Intergovernmental Affairs Committee, and that is Councilman Samuel Davis.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight on Personnel and Organization.
Thank you, sir. Planning and Development Committee, the chair and vice chair are not able to be here this evening, so we'll ask Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller to take this committee as he is on the committee as well.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
Thank you.
several items under the Planning and Development Committee at this time. First is to consider a request for approval of a development plan for Emblem Riverside Phase 2 for 9.636 acres at 1551 Riverside Parkway, located in Land Lot 176, District 1, Section 5, Parcel 1, LMC Riverside Property Owner, LLC, care of Taylor Harper. Mr. Anderson, you have some information for us.
Ryan Anderson, 6701 Church Street. The applicant is seeking development plan approval of a multifamily residential project per City of Douglasville, UDO, Section 10.07. The preliminary development plan for 9.6 acres located at 1551 Riverside Parkway. The current proposal depicts 8 apartment buildings, 5 two-story units, and 3 three-story units. Phase 2 proposal is zoned for 11 units per acre and will consist of 105 units. There will be 2 different product types. There will be three three-story walk-up apartment buildings with open breezeway, and these will equal to 80 apartment units. And there will be 5 two-story apartment buildings that features 5 two-story apartments per building, and these will equate to 25 two-story apartment buildings. Amenities will include a pool and a pool deck with small maintenance closet and restrooms and a dog park. The proposed development is an allowable use at this location. The subject property is associated with a successful rezoning from PUD to PRD in 2020. Also, the applicant received revised final plat approval last month from Mayor and Council. The applicant has submitted proposed exterior elevation and a site plan. Proposed facade materials include brick, veneer, board and batting sidings, painted wood trim, and asphalt shingles. City staff has reviewed the application and attachments and has determined that the proposed plan meets the requirements of the UDO. The applicant is here.
Thank you. Does the applicant want to come down and add further to the presentation?
Do we have an easel?
Good evening, Madam Mayor. Ray
Good
Crocker with Lennar Multifamily Communities. So we're here tonight to look over our proposed site plan, and this plan here shows our Phase 1 project that's currently under construction now. We'll open that in August of this year. This is the Phase 1 project, and then Phase 2 is what we're here to talk about tonight. And this is in the packet as well. This is a more close-up picture of the Phase 2 plan. As Ryan mentioned, we have three-story buildings here, and we have 5 of the 2-story here. We've had some site challenges with the large easements that run diagonal through the property. So we've got a linear plan, and we also have an exit only to Summer Lake Road that will give convenience to the tenants that live in the community. Our architecture is very similar to the Phase 1 community. It's a 3-story on the front, on the rear, on the easement side. On 2 of the large buildings, they will be 4-story on the back side. We have a more modern color palette here. We've got a darker, more flat siding than using the more horizontal. We went to the more flat siding, and then we also have the white brick, similar to the Phase 1 project. The 2-story product is similar design. It has the same color palette with the white brick. We've done a vertical board batten, and also the same color palette with the white windows there. So we are here requesting approval of the site plan, and here to answer any questions.
Well, thank you. I know we're not supposed to talk about the architecture very much, but I do appreciate, I do appreciate the, you know, the approach you've taken, and it clearly, we're definitely, again, it seems that you're trying to raise the bar a bit, and I like that. I also appreciate, as far as site planning goes, though, I do like the fact that you have a second exit out of the development. It would have been a long, dead-end route all the way to the back end of that property if you had left that as just one way in and out. So I think that's a good approach. I'll open the floor. Madam Mayor or anyone on the council have any questions? Councilman Estes, your ward, your question first.
Thank you. First of all, just to clarify, this is just a continuation of an existing project that is already under construction. And I, too, appreciate Mr. Crocker and Ms. Sellers for listening to the suggestions that were raised the first go-round when we were discussing Phase 1. I think this is a much improved design. So I appreciate you guys listening and responding. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Estes. Madam Mayor, you have a question?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and I appreciate the council member representative, Councilman Estes, for his comments, and thank you so much for presenting and staying consistent in what you presented and the site plan that you have showing the renderings. It gives me hope. I know all week I've been in housing meetings with ARC, and they were talking about carriage homes in different parts of Atlanta, and just, and today we had a meeting with the, or a celebration for the fire chief, and my son is being pinned tomorrow with the fire department. Wow. But he's moving, he can't stay, you know, in Douglasville because people that are under 25 or maybe over 50, there aren't a whole lot of options for them. And so he was saying, well, Ma, you know, me and two other firefighters, we want to stay in Douglasville, but it's so expensive. So we're going to have to just move next door. So this really gives hope, you know, for those millennials or those under 25 young people that are starting their careers and they may not be ready to purchase right now, but they are ready to stay in the community, and this gives them some place, young professionals, to do that. And we know, even by the statistics, a lot of young people now, even when they graduate from college, they'll stay someplace for 3 years, go to another 3 years, and may not want to purchase right away. So these are high-end enough that you'll get a professional group to come in. I know that's all off the subject, but thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other questions from Councilman?
I like it.
Councilman Davis?
I like it. I like it. New set. Yep.
Councilman Watts? I will add, we were at a presentation the other day, earlier this week, from the Chamber of Commerce, in which they announced a lot of the, to add to come along lines of what Madam Mayor was talking about. There's some major developments that are occurring in Douglas County right now, especially down along the Fairburn Road and Lee Road corridors. And we have a major movie studio that's about to go under construction, and they're expecting something on the order of, I think, what, 2,000 jobs? That's a lot of jobs. Right. That's a lot of people. So your timing is well thought out. I will not ask to place this on the consent agenda out of respect to Councilman Adams, who is not here today, so it's his committee. But we will come back on Monday, and we will render a vote on your proposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next item I have is to authorize the mayor to sign an easement for Bell South Telecommunications LLC, doing business as AT&T Georgia, for a 15 by 15 foot easement on the northeast corner of the prospective town green site to construct, operate, maintain, add, or remove such lines or systems of communications or related services as the grantee may require. Mr. Thompson, you have some information for us.
All right, Marcus Thompson, 6701 Church Street. All right, so as you guys may be aware, at the intersection of Church Street and Club Drive, there is an existing AT&T above ground utility cabinet. So that's in the location of our proposed park entrance as well as our splash pad area. So city staff, along with consultants and AT&T, has agreed to move that utility box 40 I'd say roughly 50 feet west of where the existing location is. So this easement basically is required to move that box to basically give AT&T accessibility to maintain that system. Are there any additional questions? I mean,
When you say 50 feet, where does that put it roughly? To the west?
so
About
it's-
where the bridge is, or
What was that?
close to where the bridge is, or?
Yeah, it's closer towards the bridge, west of the, where is that now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments, Madam Mayor?
And I did, there is a map attached, so you guys could see the new location.
Is that the new location, or is that the current location?
That's the new location.
Okay.
The current system sits right on that, right at that corner.
At the corner of Church and Club?
That's correct. So we're just moving it, shifting it 50 feet west of where it's at.
That's home plate. I call it home plate. When I try to explain to everybody how the town green is going to be laid out, I say it's very easy. Think of a baseball field. In the corner of Club Drive and Church Street is home plate. And then the amphitheater is at third base, the event center and bridge are at first base.
It's like that.
And the development is as the outfield wall. Simple as that. So you're moving it down the first base line.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions from that?
Appreciate I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Coach.
Madam Mayor, sorry.
I was just going to say underground.
Oh, no, it'll still be above ground.
It'll be above
They did give us the option if we want to, just to dress it up with some landscape features around it so it won't stick out too much.
Okay.
So that's our plan.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Coach, you have?
I just was going to say, thank you for putting the sports analogy in there. It made it easier to understand. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Questions from this end? Comments? If there's no objection, I'd like to place this item on the consent agenda for Monday evening. So if none, thank you, Mr. Thompson. Madam Mayor, we have no other items under the Planning and Development Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I appreciate you taking that committee. We'll move on then to housing, and I'll ask Councilmember Samuel Davis to take that committee, Housing and Community Affairs.
At this time, Madam Mayor, we have no business.
Okay, we'll move on to the next committee, which is Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, and that's yours, Councilman Davis.
At this time, we have no business. Thank you.
Okay, Personnel and Organization Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
We've already gone through these.
Am I at the wrong one?
I think you repeated this.
Oh, I apologize.
We're on 11, I think.
Lord have mercy. Public Improvement and Beautification Committee, the chair and vice chair aren't here. I see people aren't here. That's what's making me mixing me up. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time with the Public Improvement and Beautification Committee.
Thank you so much. Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. PR Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple of items. And my first item is hold a public hearing to consider the request for the change in agent outlet manager for the alcoholic beverage license for the retail package sale of the wine and malt beverage the following establishment. Current license, the Kroger Company, DBA Kroger, number 366, location 3251 Highway 5. Current agent outlet manager, Tommy Gladden. Proposed agent outlet manager, Joseph Malding. Prescribed fees has been paid into the finance department. Mr. Joseph Malding here? Yes. Come on down and state your name and address for our records tonight, sir.
Joseph Malding, I live at 75 Brittany Drive, Dallas, Georgia.
Okay, and how long you will be the outlet manager now?
It'll be a year next month in March.
Okay, and how do you go about your staff educating them on alcoholic beverages?
We have web-based learning that all cashiers take at the point of hire, and they retake that every year as well. So there's the annual training, an initial training when they're hired, and then it's the annual retraining. On top of that, the front-end manager extensively retrains just as part of her job if she sees any issues or training.
That's also with the new hires.
Yeah, oh yeah, the new hires go through the web-based training upon even going on to the register. Then they have an annual retaking of the exam And that's all corporate, web-based training that is passed down from the corporate office.
Okay, thank you. Mayor and council, Madam Mayor,
I don't have any, thank you.
council members? Okay, at this time, we will hold a public hearing, and we'll open the floor. We give 5 minutes for those who speak against your application, and 5 minutes to speak against your application. Now we take the ones who speak against, 5 minutes. I see no takers. Now we take the 5 minutes to speak to those for your application. See no takers, so I close the public hearing, come back on Monday, and give you answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question for Mr. Joel. Mr. Dodson, if we have, is there any such thing that we can put on a consent agenda when we have no takers?
Since you've had your public hearing, I don't see why you couldn't.
Okay, thank
You've
you.
had your public hearing tonight, so I see no reason why it couldn't go on the consent agenda.
Okay, Madam Mayor, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda if,
We have any opposition?
I have no problem with it. We might want to let the gentleman who just left know so he doesn't come back on Monday. He's already left the room.
we'll send him a call, we'll contact him.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to be addressing this in item C anyway, aren't we? City manager, so, anyway.
Okay, thank you, sir. If council willing, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday.
Looks like it's okay.
Moving right along. Item B, hold a public hearing to consider request for alcoholic beverage license for the on-premise sale and consumption of wine and malt beverage at the Spirit Liquor at the following establishment. Proposed licensee, Flores, Georgia LLC, DBA Tasty Crab House, location 6842 Douglas Boulevard, Suite A, proposed agent outlet manager, Danjoing Tang, and the required fees have been paid into the finance department. Will y'all come on down? State your name and your address for the record, please.
Okay. My name is Carrie. We're the president for the Tasty Crab House, 6842 Douglasville Boulevard, Suite 8.
Oh, good, good. And your friend there, she's one of the managers there?
Yes. Yeah, the signage manager here.
Okay.
Manager here, Sonny.
Okay, good. The same question that I asked the other gentleman. How do you go about training your staff alcohol? This is a new application, right?
Yeah.
So y'all never had any, okay.
Yes.
How do you go about training your staff?
So we found some people come.
Speak into the mic, Jess, a little more.
I'm sorry. So we found someone to come to the restroom to training for each service. Find the personal person, and the people have to get a legal license, come here, the restroom to training for everyone the service when they serve the legals for customer.
Okay. Mayor and council?
I didn't exactly hear everything. What transpired, Councilman Davis?
She means she will find some professional one to come into training people to how to serve in the liquor.
So you'll have someone come in and administer the training for your staff?
Yes.
Okay, all right, then a consultant or something.
Sorry, we got a little bit nervous.
Oh, that's okay.
Because before, she told me something about the meeting is like one by one and face to face.
Yes,
when I
ma'am.
sit down here, I saw everyone, so I'm so nervous.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Why are you nervous?
Don't worry about it.
You know,
You're not nervous when I come in.
yes, because
You're always talking to me.
She told me, Carrie, just go, just one by one, it's easy. But I come here, feel like in a crowd, you know. So this long time ago, I speak to for a lot of person like that. So I'm so nervous.
Oh,
Sorry
don't
about
worry
that.
about it. It's fine. I just wanted to have an understanding. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Have you started your training yet?
We right now we find someone to the restroom. Right now we didn't have the legal license yet, but we already to find the people to write down everything on the paper and send the video so the service already. So after legal semester coming out, we have to make sure everybody get a meeting and find the people to teach for everyone. Like that. Thanks.
Well, let's check all the IDs, right?
Yes, we will.
Okay, good. Council members, now's the time. Okay, we're gonna have a public hearing. And that's we're gonna ask anyone in the audience that they got, we're gonna give them 5 minutes to speak against your application. And we're opening the hearing up now to speak against the application. 5 minutes. Okay,
5 times 4.
5 minutes to speak for the application. Okay, since we see no takers, I'm gonna close the public hearing. This is your first and new license. I really appreciate it. And you all really do good. And I think I come in there, what, every week? You can tell, yes. Yes. So thank you all for coming. And Mayor and Council, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda if it's council pleasure. This is a new application, brand new business in our city. Thank y'all for coming to the city. Okay?
We won't have any opposition.
Thank you. That's all I have, and thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm gonna take a break now.
See you Monday.
No, you still have one more, Councilman Day.
Okay, I got some.
You had a doctor.
Okay. Item C, adopt an ordinance to amend the subsection 1021E of the City of Douglasville Code of Ordinance to provide for the city manager and chief of police to administratively approve or deny application for change of agent, outlet agent, and for charging, is that charging or changing administrative fees, charging administrative fee? Ms. Woodward.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. This item, it comes out of the strategic planning session, and it's partially reflecting this reality that a lot of people don't stay at one job very long anymore. So we've been seeing frequent changes in outlet managers, but the premise, but the business has been there for a long time, and staff therefore recommends to have the city manager and the chief of police approve change of outlet managers administratively instead of bringing it before you. This does not change the requirement for new liquor licenses to come before you all. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Mayor and Council, I think that's good. Okay. Mayor and Council, Madam Mayor?
Yes, just so to clarify, or a brief synopsis of what Ms. Woodward is saying is that, just like this evening, Kroger would not have to come before the city council because they have an existing license. They're just changing their outlet manager, and it will be done administratively by the city manager and the chief, and the city manager through communications department, development, and the chief to see if they've had any infractions. So they would approve that, but if it was a brand new application like Tasty Crab, then they would come before the council.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? What? You good?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday if the, all right, that's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
all.
Thank you, Councilman Davis, and thank you, Ms. Woodward and the applicants. We'll move on then to Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Recreation, Culture, and Tourism.
Thank you, sir. Technology Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item under the Technology Committee tonight. That is to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Consumer Security Services, Inc. to upgrade the cellular communicator to 5G at the City of Douglasville Welcome Center. And Mr. Jenkins will explain to us why we completely skipped over 4G.
There we go. Hello, Sam Jenkins, IT Manager, 6695 Church Street. Hello, Mayor, Madam Mayor, and Council. But the telecom industry have started phased out 3G and moved to 5G, and that's why we changed the modem here at the Wellness Center over to 5G as well. So you've probably seen on the news a lot about this lately because the date is coming up. I think it's on the 22nd, where they're actually phasing it out. So what some industry are actually, or what some cellular company are doing, actually giving people free phones just to get them there as they phase them out. So
We shouldn't be thinking about 6G yet, just to skip past, because 5G will be outdated in 18 months anyway, right? Council have any questions, Madam Mayor? Comments? This sounds like technological housekeeping for the city. So if there are no, if there's no objections, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda. So done. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Mayor, that's all we have under the Technology Committee at this time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on then to the last committee for consideration, which is Transportation Committee. The chair isn't here. The vice chair is Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time under the Transportation Committee.
Thank you so much, sir. Is there any other business to come before committees tonight from the elected body? Thank you. I don't see any. I do have a couple of things. One, today we received from Georgia Municipal Association, the City of Douglasville, $20,000 safety grant. And the picture, they printed it out already, City Manager. So, Police Department, I believe. Is that? Yes, ma'am. So we're excited about that. And secondly, it's a kind of a problem, but we resolved the problem very quickly. We did appoint, the WSA appointment will be up April 1st. The new person is supposed to serve as one of the board directors, and it was a former council member, Charlie Banks. He had served for only 17 months, but he was unable at this point to be appointed because of his work schedule and his family commitment. So we did, I reached out, I had the city manager reach out to former Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel to see if he would serve, and he has agreed. And so we will vote on that on Monday. So hopefully.
I think we should interview him and
We should
grill
interview
him a
him.
little bit, you know, just
I second that motion.
Well,
Make
he
sure
is
he's
here this
qualified.
evening, if you wanted to, but we really appreciate your willingness to serve. And not that you were second best, we just know you're busy, and Councilmember Banks had already served for 18 months. His term was for 5 years, but he rotated off. The county did not reappoint him, and he agreed, but then he had to rescind. So we appreciate you stepping in, being the ram in the bush for the appointment to WSA. And if you all have any concerns, please email me, and we'll but we'll vote on Monday. Councilmember Estes.
I don't have a concern, but I want to congratulate you on an excellent choice.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And Councilman Banks did a wonderful job. He just was not able to. He wishes. Ooh. Okay, what you trying to say? Okay, we'll move on then. We don't have any other business. We'll go to updates. We'll go to our updates from city staff. I know it's his laptop. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dodson.
No business, Madam.
Thank you, sir. Our staff attorney, Ms. Lynn Woodward.
No business, Madam Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Our chief of police, Chief Gary Sparks.
Yes, ma'am. We have several things going on, and the Coach Watts had asked me to mention some of these things. So, February the 26th, we having the Day of Unity at the Police Department from 10 to 11:30. A Day of Unity to bring our community together. That the more we are together as one, the better we can move forward together. March 1st, we're having a town hall meeting, and we're going to be discussing our end of the year report. And that will be 6:30 to 8. And then we're getting the Youth Against Violence started back up on the 5th, and we're starting a new program on the 14th. And we have a job fair for young people. Anybody looking for a job, on March the 14th, we have a job fair from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., 2083 Fairburn Road, Douglasville, Georgia. That's your police department. So we'll be out in the yard, and we've got several organizations that's coming by to get some jobs out.
Yes, sir. So, Chief, I just wanted to ask questions about the March 1st. You said it's an end-of-the-year report. And will that be televised? Are you going to have it Facebook or,
Now, I don't know.
you don't know? Okay.
Well, you know, it's gonna be at the PD, so I don't know if the.
We can do virtual or not?
It's not gonna be virtual, it's gonna be live. Yeah, so it's not gonna be a virtual thing. I don't know if we got the city.
Maybe we can have communications come and tape, because I've had several requests or concerns about, crime. And of course, if you get the paper, it seems like every time we get the paper, is something on the front, as far as crime is concerned. But just to, not to combat the stories, but just to give the facts of crime in the city of Douglasville and really the reduction, but crime that's growing all over the country. But if you were able, if we could, be able to get that information to the citizenry outside of having them actually come on the first.
Yes.
Coach, you have something?
I was just going
Public Safety Chair.
say, Chief, starting another program that he's getting a lot of questions from the press. And, if not tonight, maybe one night here, he can kind of talk about it, because it really sounds like a fantastic program. that
Yeah,
they're
let us
doing.
make men kind of that 21, that gap of.
Right. So,
I know CBS 46 was coming to interview the chief, so, star student.
he's even getting calls from Canada.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, you have to brief us, chief, on that one. But yes, so if we can, well, now talk to city manager to see if maybe communications could video, okay, great. So that we'll have that and maybe post it again on our social media outlets so that people will be able to see every category and how we're doing for the past. And the chief does like 3 years increments, 3 to 5 years, so people will see what's going on and be able to ascertain what is factual and what is rumor as far as public safety is concerned in the city of Douglasville. Any other comments? So we'll keep moving on. Our city manager, Ms. Marsha Hampton.
Only thing, I have no committee meetings on Monday. See you at 6.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you so much, City Manager. We'll move on then to comments from citizens and delegates. If you sustain the meeting, yes, ma'am, Ms. Cindy, please come forward and give us your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes to talk to us about any business that pertains to the city or potential business.
Cindy Welch, 3002 Concord Way, Douglasville.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just have a comment. A few months ago, you all approved, and I don't know what they were called, mini warehouse, I don't know. They're off Reservoir Drive, behind the shops that are in
Yes.
Chapel Hill Road. I would like you all to please go over and look at that. I don't know how tall they were supposed to be, but all of a sudden, all the stuff they're putting up is over the top of those shops that front Chapel Hill Road. And so the people who live in Heritage Valley that back up to that, now they're afraid that the ones coming back behind them are gonna be that tall also. And those that I see behind the Chapel Hill Road stuff, if they're sitting 10 feet from the property line, it would be a miracle. So, and the ones, if they're behind residential property, I hope there's gonna be some kind of a planet buffer, because there's not tree one there. Everything, they took everything down to nothing. So I would just, like to have someone check that out.
Yes, ma'am. I was at the mall yesterday, so
It's a
I'll drive
mess.
back by there.
When I
to
come
see.
out my front door and I look over there at the townhouses, and they start at 6:30 in the morning, they go till 7 at night. It's like, oh, please, if I have to hear that one more time.
Hopefully it won't be very much longer
Oh,
progress.
yes, it will, but all they're doing is moving dirt and rocks. They're not building a thing yet.
Yes.
It's taken them a long time,
Yes, ma'am.
so take a
Yes,
look
ma'am.
at
We'll
it.
have, the city manager was nodding. We'll have someone check it out. Thank you so much, Ms. Welch. Do we have any other comments from citizens and delegates? If not, and we don't have any other business, and this meeting is adjourned.